Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to look at where the polls are for the Conservatives and the Liberals, and we're also going to be looking at a few months that could predict the rest of Canadian politics. If you enjoyed today's video, consider hitting the subscribe button down below. Now, let's begin today's video. So we're going to start off today's video by talking about where the Conservatives and Liberals are at the end of December. While the Christmas time is known to help the Conservatives, this Christmas took a turn as the Liberals edged the Conservatives in the polls. Although today is December 26th, the final polls for Leger and other polls are going to release in the coming days. It seems that the Liberals have managed to pull off a pretty good polling summary for this December. While the polls do indicate that the Conservatives could be leading or are tied, many polls still show that the Liberals are leading. The Main Street polls do show that the Liberals are leading by around 2 or 3 percentage points. In fact, we had 3 polls this month having the Liberals ahead by 3 percentage points. But is that going to change? Well, in the last few polls, in fact, last 2 polls, the Conservatives have tied the Liberals and have narrowed the gap. And in fact, before Michael Maugh's resignation earlier this month, the Conservatives were in fact leading the Liberals in the polls. But then that took a sharp turn after Michael Mauh resigned because, as we all know, floor crossings are not going to be very good news for the Conservatives in their caucus or their approvals. So this month, I would say that the Liberals have won this month. Next month we're going to look at is January. In January, most political pundits and experts will be looking at Pierre Poilievre's leadership race. Pierre Poilievre's leadership race will happen on January 29th. Although the leadership race convention is expected to happen in Calgary, the race still shows that if Pierre Poilievre wins below 70%, then he could possibly be voted out as leader. While he might get above 50%, typically leaders who get at 70% typically have to resign. If he gets 80%, then that'll be a normal result for him. If he gets 90%, that means Pierre Poilievre could continue as leader. But during that time, we also have to remember a few things. One, conservative sources are telling that few more floor crossings will happen in January or before February. Do you know what this means for the Conservatives? Well, this means, let's say that there are 3 floor crossings or 2 floor crossings, the vote on the Calgary could change dramatically. If these floor crossings happen after Pierre Poilievre's leadership race, then he could win a majority of the caucus, about 90%. But if the floor crossings do happen during his leadership convention, then the votes could go to about 75 or 76. Okay, now we're going to go to March. March is kind of a pundit's favorite. As we all know, in March is the end of the NDP's leadership race. While we do expect the NDP could rise by 3, 4, or even 5 points in the polls, while that's very unlikely for 5 points to happen, it is a guarantee that the NDP could have some approval highs during that time, and they could rise to maybe 12 or 13% in the polls. Anything can happen at that time. What will that mean for the vote intention for the federal parties? Well, that means that if Mark Carney does not have a deal with Trump by that time, the vote on the left could start to split, which is every Tory's dream. And right now, the polls show that if the NDP were to rise dramatically, the Liberals could be pushed down to about 35 or 36 in the polls, while the Conservatives could get a bump to about 40 or 41%. And if that happens, here are the polling numbers we have. 15% for the NDP, 36% for the Liberals, and 41% for the Conservatives. An outright majority if an election were to happen. The Conservatives would win majority of the Greater Toronto region and maybe start pulling in the Inner Toronto region. They would do very good in BC because remember, in BC, the vote splitting on the left, a 3-party race, a 3-way race for all the parties. That's every Tory's dream. And in March, we could see NDP numbers going pretty high. If they go high, I could guarantee you that'll be a very good thing for Pierre Poilievre in the future. So that's pretty much all for today's video. And remember, if you enjoyed today's video, consider hitting the subscribe button down below and like the video for more content just like this.